All right, guys, I'm joined here with Anthony Romero, undefeated 8-0, competed last week on Dana White's Contender Series. Anthony, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I want to thank you for taking the time out here. Second time I've gotten to spoke to you, so that's awesome. So take us back. You had 7 days to sit on it. You gave us a great performance, and you're the only name that doesn't get called. Can you give us some emotions on that? And now 7 days later, what's going through?
I'm good. I'm good now. I'm enjoying life. In life, you can't dwell on the past because you can't look forward to a future, right? So I'm happy. Just getting ready for the next one, and yeah, it's all good. No hard feelings. Can't argue with the boss now because he'll be my boss eventually. So.
And so most, including myself, media members, fans, had you and this fight with Mike Breeden as the two most UFC ready guys on the card, and really on the season for some people. It just kind of blows my mind that you were not chosen. And I mean, do you agree that you feel you're UFC ready? Correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. I knew that I was supposed to be on the show last year, and I felt I was UFC ready, and I got 2 extra fights in, so I thought this was the time, but apparently not, and I just can't wait for the next opportunity that I have. So.
How tough was Mike Breeden?
Oh, super tough. Yeah, everyone knows from watching that fight. I chopped his legs down, and my legs are feeling. I can't imagine his. And he's super tough. I have nothing but respect for him, and he put on a great fight.
And so, Dana said that one of the reasons he felt you weren't ready was because you slowed down in the third, according to him. What's your response to that? I mean, and rate your performance.
I don't. He never said that I slowed down. He said that I couldn't finish him because he was on one leg or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like it's tough because if you watch the fights that are in the UFC, some of the highest guys in the world, they're not getting finishes in their fights. Like you look at the fight we saw in the UFC, Pedro Munoz and Frankie Edgar. Like we all know Frankie Edgar is a tough guy, but you don't see Dana White knocking Pedro Munoz because he was crushing his calf, and Frankie Edgar was limping all over the place. You know what he did? He gave them both a bonus for their fight. So that blows my mind. Another fight, a legendary fight, Jose Aldo and Uriah Faber. Jose Aldo is one of the best in the world. Chopping Uriah Faber's legs, he couldn't get the finish. He went to a unanimous decision, and everyone viewed that as a great performance. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that maybe he was just in a bad mood, wasn't feeling it, and it wasn't my day. So.
Yeah, and how hurt were your legs in the third?
I was good. It's tough to feel things when you're in there because the adrenaline's pumping, so you don't feel it. But yeah, I'll be honest. I had some swelling in my legs. I'm not a superhuman, but yeah, I have like that Wolverine recovery, so I'm pretty good now.
Awesome. And so, like you just spoke about, really it was the fight of the night. On a regular UFC card, not on Contender Series. There is this stigma around Contender Series that there needs to be finishes, but a lot of times, especially when you're fighting a guy like Mike Breeden, who a lot see as UFC ready, if you can dominate for 3 rounds and get the win, do you feel like that there is a stigma that you need a finish on Contender Series?
Yeah, yes and no, because I feel like it is sometimes, and then other times you see guys going to decision, sometimes laying on their opponent, and then they get a contract because it was their second time in a Contender Series or something like that. Yeah, it's just off and on. 1 week Dana's on vacation, he gives 5 contracts. Another week he gives 1. So it just depends on what day and I guess what mood Dana White's in.
Yeah, and something that was a big topic of discussion in the media world is you look back at Austin Vanderford. He has a great performance on Contender Series, undefeated. Scott Coker makes a call. He's in Bellator now. Is that something that would interest you? If Scott Coker or Rich Chow gave you a call, would you go with Bellator?
I'm always open to conversations. Money talks, of course, right? But right now, my eyes are set on the UFC. It's been a goal of mine since I was a kid, and I want to be able to say that I was in there and I had a great career in the UFC. One day be a champion. And then if it doesn't go my way, I know those other opportunities are there. Like Bellator is taking former UFC vets and all that. So I'm not rushing to get to somewhere else. My goal is to get to the UFC, and like Dana White said, I'm still young. I have lots of opportunities still. So.
And absolutely, I mean, you're only 23 years old. I mean, you're 8-0. How much, even though you lost, it's kind of like a win or learn. I mean, sorry, lost but didn't get the contract. Won but didn't get the contract. I mean, it's still a learning process for you. Everything's still a learning process every time you're in that cage.
Oh yes, of course. Like people say that when you lose, you learn, which is true. But I don't think you need to necessarily lose to learn your lessons. You can also learn from a win. You take feedback here and there. But if I were to go back, yeah, maybe I would get a finish and stuff like that. But it's always easier said than done. You get those people who say, "Oh, you should have finished him," blah blah blah. But no one was in that position that I was in. No one knows that if I were to rush in, that it's super dangerous. That I could get knocked out, lose my undefeated record. I wouldn't have gotten the UFC either way. So what was the point? I was still honestly trying to finish the fight, but he's just a tough guy, and sometimes you run into those guys that really test you, and he was one of them. So.
Yeah, and everyone's a fighter from at home on their couch.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, have you talked to any of the matchmakers? Have you talked to Dana? Anyone? Have they talked to your management team and given you kind of like a go win here, go win there, and we're going to call you back? Has there been any conversation like that?
Not that I've heard of right now, but I know there's always opportunity. They're always taking guys for short notice fights, so I'm always looking for the opportunity. I have my visa still. All my medicals are done, so it would be pretty smart for them to take me as a short notice fight. Especially there's a lot of lightweight fights coming up, and things happen.
Absolutely.
Lightweight, featherweight, welterweight. I'm good to go. So.
Ready for any weight?
Yeah.
And so, like you just said, you kind of answered this question in that answer is, you're going to wait, you're going to be on weight, you're going to be kind of in training camp waiting for that fight. But if it doesn't come, what's the plan? Would you like to get right back into, an LFA or some type of regional show where you can, again, get a win and kind of continue to show this undefeated streak?
Yeah, like I said, those opportunities are there. So I'm not like on my knees begging for another fight. I just fought. I fought in March, so I probably, out of all the fighters, I probably outside the UFC had the most fights this year, where a lot of people haven't even gotten a fight. So right now I'm kind of getting better and just kind of waiting for that opportunity. And yeah, eventually if there's a no-go 6 months, 8 months from now, then yeah, I'll take another fight. But I'm not in any rush. I'll be 24 in February, so I'm still good to go.
Very young. And so aside from not getting the contract, take us through just the week, someone who is only 23 years old and you're fighting on Dana White Contender Series. I mean, like you said, your dream is to be a UFC fighter, a UFC champion, and that's a big step in that dream. I mean, just take us back, and have you had time to just kind of like look at it and just be excited?
Yeah, like I was telling my family, I was telling my girlfriend that I have the usual nerves for my fight. Like it's just another fight for me. But I had excitement. I was really excited to get that opportunity because not a lot of people get that opportunity to fight in front of Dana White, in front of pretty much millions of people watching on TV. And I was just really excited for that because it's a big opportunity for me to grow my brand, to grow, for people to know who I am. And I was just excited, especially to get on the mic after, people to know me and the hard work that I put into the sport, me and my coaches, my team, my family. So that's what I was really excited about. But yeah, I was super nervous. I'll be honest. Like that's probably the most nervous I've been out of all my pro fights. And just because the opportunity was so big and there was a lot on the line. And it was weird because I didn't get the contract anyways. But there was a lot on the line, and I was just excited to get that opportunity. It felt like a dream or like a movie where that person gets that one moment to shine. So,
absolutely, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more moments to shine for you, Anthony. And what was the first thing you did when you got home? I mean, after all of that.
First thing I got home is sit here in the trailer. I'm in quarantine right now because we have to quarantine for 14 days
Yeah.
here in Canada. So I'm just kind of hanging out, watching. I've been watching that series, the Kingdom.
Oh yeah, I actually just started watching that too.
Yeah, I've been watching it because I'm stuck in here. There's like nothing else to do, so I've just been watching episode after episode.
Yeah.
But it's gonna suck when that show ends. But yeah, other than that, just kind of hanging out. I'm still teaching classes now. I put up my merch store yesterday, so things are just going up from here. So.
And where can people find that merch store?
Just on my Instagram at genius_MMA. There's a link in my bio, and it'll take you to my store. There's a bunch of hoodies, shirts, tank tops. I got masks going now, so yeah, lots of things.
Need those.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you're a young Canadian fighter. Speak on Canadian MMA right now. I mean, obviously we've seen some amazing greats, like obviously GSP. But I feel like Canadian MMA is really making another jump right now.
Oh yes, of course. There's Canadians like this season has had the most Canadians out of all the seasons, which is pretty cool. There should be two contracts right now, but there's one, and but it was pretty cool to be the second person to win on the Contender Series from Canada, and yeah, just big things are coming. There's lots of people from my gym, from Niagara Top Team, from Parabellum, who are up and coming. I'm sure you know some of them, Aaron Jeffrey, Jasmine. They're ready to go. They're UFC ready for sure, and just lots of things coming for our team.
Absolutely. And so last thing for me is just if you had a message, if you were able to say something to Dana White right now about what's next for you and that you want that contract, I mean, what would it be?
Oh, I'm going to turn that frown upside down, and you're going to be super impressed for the next performance. I take that criticism, and I don't hate him for it. It's his job is to get the top performers in the world, and if that was a good performance, the next performance is going to be great. The next one's going to be better after that. So I'm just it lit a fire, and I feel bad for the next guy. So
Awesome, man. Thank you, Anthony, for joining us, man.